Hello, everyone, and welcome to Angels in Action. Susie will be with us shortly. This is our 11th of December broadcast 2023. We are heading towards Christmas and we're in the holiday season. I want to welcome you all and thank you for joining us, whether you're here live or on the rebroadcast. My name is Larkin. You can check on the banner here to find out exactly how to join us. If you are on YouTube and you want your comments to be seen, please make sure that you subscribe to our page. And if you are on Facebook, you just have to log in for free on through StreamYard, and then we can see who you are and you can participate. What we do here in Angels in Action every week is we talk about working practically in your everyday life with angels. We also talk about loved ones. We also talk about spirit guides and things like that. This conversation is open to anything. Hi, Ward. Welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. This conversation is open to anything metaphysical, anything paranormal, but the focus, the initial basis is working with angels. And our goal is, here we already have a spammer. What our goal is here is, what we have here, guys, is Susie and I want to make this practical. We want to make this, come here, get me barking, honey, come here, come here. We want to make this more of a practical, everyday way of life, okay? So that we can close that gap and that separation. Oh, thank you, Ward. That was a fast one. That's the fastest one we've had. Hi, Susie. Welcome. Mwah. What I want to remind everybody on in this broadcast is that our lives with the spirit world, I don't like the word should, but I'm going to use the word should, can and should be practical, commonplace, and everyday. It will not take away the magic and the wonder and the magnificent of working with spirit, but it is a part of who and what we are. It is what a lot of ancient cultures knew, such as the Native Americans, and they incorporated this in their everyday life, in their problem solving, in their decision making, in what they ate, in how they handled their social circles and their social structure. And so if we can take the separation that we have between our spirituality, for example, working with angels or getting a reading, and we can apply it practically, and we can help you all learn how to do that on your own as well. So that as you're going about your everyday life, you can be having conversations with angels and spirit guides. You can be helping yourself to resolve issues by working with them. And this is really something that for me, I've done my whole life, and it does not take away from the magic. If anything, my life every day is exceedingly magical, and more so than really anyone that I talk to. And I want to offer this to you as well. Welcome, Susie. How are you today?
Hi. I'm here. I'm good.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
So the holiday season is yes, my little Jack Russell, when she gets an itch, she starts to bark. So I guess I helped her by bringing her over here. I wanted to sort of start out today by, talking for a moment about the holiday season and the fact that the holiday season seems to be so crazy and stressful for people is really self-induced. It's not something that has to happen. To be honest, the holiday season has never stressed me out. I've always enjoyed it. I've relished it. I have found it warm and exciting and wonderful. And, I understand the stress because I know the pressure of, getting the cards out, if anyone does that anymore, getting the gifts, making all the parties, having all these things scheduled. People tend to get stressed. And so oftentimes you have a lot of personal interactions that can be, conflictual or kind of stressful. But for me, that's never been my personal experience, even though I understand it. even though I've had people in my life, in my family, who do get exceedingly stressed, who are often the cause of stress throughout the holiday. And so I want to toss that out there to all of you, that it's just sort of commonplace, and we seem to pick up from each other, oh, the stress of the holidays. And it's been marketed. It has been promoted and marketed and encouraged as a way to um, as a way to use it for marketing, as a matter of fact. So I want to just toss out there that your holiday season does not have to be stressful. It might take you a season or two to get the hang of it. You might have to make some major mindset changes and decide, hey, this isn't what I want anymore. But I want you all to know that it's a belief that the holidays are stressful. They do not have to be stressful. And it is really your choice. And it's your choice as far as, boundaries. It's your choice as far as your mindset. And it takes practice to make that shift. But you guys can do it. And part of doing that is staying in your own lane. And working with spirit can help you stay in your own lane. So, for example, if I'm dealing with a lot of external things that could be stressful, remember, guys, it's all perception. So it's what you believe about something, whether you choose to make it a stressor or not. It's not actually the situations themselves that are stressful. Okay. By the way, I'm doing black cherry incense today. If you guys want to join me in sharing your little ambiance here. So I want to just toss that out there. If you guys have questions about that today, or even on the rebroadcast, you want to learn more about that. That's something I like to talk more about in my lives. But just know that that is possible for you, and that it's just sort of cultural norms that we collectively create a stressful holiday environment, and then we market it and we advertise it and we buy things accordingly. And you don't have to do that. You can welcome in the holiday with open arms, and the joy and the peace and the love and the transformation that comes with it. Hi, Debbie. Welcome. Let's see. Word says, I like how Christmas warms up the winter and the joyful events. Me too. There's a super warm feeling that you can get in the holidays. I'm not sure if it has the same effect in warmer climates. I think it would, obviously, internally. I know for me, in every way, because where I live, it's cold outside during this time of year. And so the warmth that I experience during the holiday season because of the festivities is actually super special because the weather's cold. Susie, do you have anything you want to share? I also want to make sure that we share with everyone today the special things that both of us have going on, in case they don't see it on our post, so they can participate in that as well. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Sorry I'm a bit late, because add into that conversation how not to get stressed over Christmas.
Yeah.
Moving house. I am mid-process of moving from this little house to a bigger house. And that's where I've been this afternoon, waiting for the plumber to arrive. And as always, with lovely tradesmen this time of year, they are never on time. So yeah, so hence why I'm a little bit tardy tonight. But yeah,
goes to the spiritual territory.
Absolutely.
Honestly, yeah. I hate to say that, guys, but one of the ways you can usually tell a really true and authentic spiritual medium type connector person, and this isn't true for all of them, if they've got a lot more left brained, it's not true. We're always running on our own time frame, and it is honestly, our frequency is just completely in a totally different place. It is not in sync with any of the norm that is going on. And as much as that may sound like BS, it's absolutely true. And I used to have a colleague who was a reader, and he would always laugh because I was never on time, but I would always be there for the perfect time and create the perfect scenario in these events we were doing. And he would always laugh and he would say, you know, the wizard always has her own time. And that was always his phrase. And that really stuck with me. Because at the time I was really stressing over being late. And then I finally just resided to the fact that, you know what, I'm operating on a different time system and I have to be okay with that. Hi, Debbie. Welcome. Ward says, I don't mind the cold. Nothing better than walking in the morning winter, smelling the fresh air. Yeah. And you know what, guys? I want to throw this out there. If you live in a place where there is snow, it's a great opportunity for you to experience a tremendous sense of peace, because this snow, literally in the silence that it emanates, creates an undeniable sense of outer and inner peace. And that's one of the things I love about living where it's snowing, where it snows.
Hi, Tracy. Just want to say hello to Tracy as well, who's just popped in. So lovely to see you all. Thank you all for being here. My views on not getting stressed. Christmas has never really been a time of stress for me. I don't know why. I just guess I've just never got to that point of allowing it to be so. Because like you, I sort of live in my own time. Things happen at the right time for me when they're meant to happen. And I've always just had this philosophy that what I haven't got, I can't change it, and make do with what I have got. So yeah, and just even with moving house this couple of weeks, and I aim to be in the new house hopefully by the end of this week, if not next week, which obviously will be Christmas week. And on top of that, my partner's got a surgery date Christmas week as well, so we've got that to manage. But I just know that everything will work out and it will be as it's meant to be. And yeah, just don't get caught up in the hype of it all, I think, as well, is the answer.
So stress is an
also,
internal thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but also managing your stress by doing things that nurture yourself, I guess, as well, is a good thing to do. I'm just reading Debbie's comment here. I'm in two minds about it. Love the magic of it, but seeing all the people in the shop like ants really freaks me out, and I get overwhelmed. And I think for me, one of the ways that I would deal with that would be perhaps to find times, which perhaps isn't always that easy this time of year, but to find times where the shops are a bit quieter, either very early in the morning, you know, first thing, or almost sort of last thing on the evening is another one. So it's about, I guess, managing what it is that overwhelms, and then finding ways to perhaps reduce that. You can't get rid of it completely, obviously, but I certainly get the ant-like comment. Hi, Shanti, lovely to see you. Yeah, because crowds are not my thing anyway, so I've always sort of tried to be strategic about my shopping, no matter what time of year it is, because I just don't like. I get the overwhelm of the energy, not that it stresses me out. So find ways that you can reduce that, you know. And these days, of course, it's a little bit easier that we can use online shopping. So balancing perhaps half and half. Yeah, there we go. Do the online shopping. I know it sort of takes away from that nice feeling of actually being seen and doing and touching what you're choosing to buy. But there are still quite a bit that you can do that reduces what you then need to go out and shop for. So yeah, and when I go on my shopping day, I do literally make a day of it. And my friends are always like, "You're constantly in and out of coffee shops," and I said, "Yeah, because it's about taking a break. It's about having that bit of quiet downtime, not rushing from one shop to the next." So I would go out sort of mid-morning or early-ish morning, stop for coffee, stop for lunch, stop for afternoon tea. You know, if I'm out all day, and just break the day up as well with little pit stops, just so that you can just sit, relax, and yeah, just take in people watching. That's a great way. That's a great de-stressor for me, is people watching as well.
So I want to share a couple of things here. And guys, I might not always say hi to people when they pop on right away because it seems like I'm ADHD anyway, hopping around on here. And I'm not really worried about that. We'll make sure we welcome you guys all. Don't worry, we'll get to you. There's always a couple people I get off of my lives with, and I'm like, oh my God, I never even saw them, and I scrolled through everything. But we're so grateful that you're all here. I want to mention two things. Number one, Tracy, I think it's so funny. You just mentioned I'm always on time. My husband is never on time, and he's a plumber.
Yeah, my plumber was late today.
Engineer. And it just, I find that because this week I've had more dealings with people that have needed to, I know you said it, a gas heating engineer, but I just have to laugh at the word plumber because, I've had so many interactions with that actually the past 2 weeks, not just myself, but with so many people that I know. And the other thing is, I want to throw out there for everybody, our lives are the results of habits and repetition. So it may be that right now, something that stresses you out will not stress you out in a year or two if you learn how to transform the mindset. Hi, Joanne. Welcome. I know my voice goes way up when I say hi to people. It's because this is the serious thing I'm talking about, and that I'm welcoming people and being friendly. I know I always find that amusing when I hear the replays. But we can change that. And this goes back to believing our thoughts and not being aware that our thoughts are not us until we really step back and think about it, right? The fact that, when something stresses us out, it's not the situation. I will say to someone, why is this stressing you out? And they'll give me all these scenarios that is about the situation. It isn't. It isn't the situation. It is your perception and your beliefs and how your subconscious, that 95% of your mind you're unaware of, is perceiving that scenario will affect you and create an outcome that you don't want. That is what creates stress. The ego's belief that a particular set of circumstances or a scenario is creating a reality that you don't want. Now, just let that sink in this week. That's all it is, which means one of the, when you learn to surrender more to a situation, which is why Susie and I were saying, we'll kind of just take the more laid back approach with some of these things. We sort of just slow down, surrender. It is what it is. Things are in process. Take ourselves to the next phase. And what that does is it reduces a lot of the hype and the pressure and the stress. Part of that is trusting that things are always working out for you, knowing that every circumstance and situation is in process. And the beauty of this, since we're here talking about spirit guides and angels and things like that, is that this is a huge area where spirit is working with you, because spirit sees that, right? Angels know and see that. That's how they work. They're working with everything as a process. Whereas the human mind tends to work with things as, oh my God, this means this, now it's going to be that. This means this, now it's going to be that. That's not how it is. And so, what we're sharing might not happen for you overnight, but it might be that next year or 3 holiday seasons from now, you just more easily learn to navigate. And one of the other things you can do, and the angels can help you with this too, this is what I was mentioning a little bit earlier, is when you focus more on them or your interactions with them, that shifts you into a different lane. So when you're out at the mall, for example, you're out shopping, if you, like a lot of women tend to get sucked into everybody else's lane. Women are notorious for this, right? We're curious, we're nosy. Even if we're people that don't like drama, it's how our brains work. And so even if we don't want to participate, we tend to get sucked in by other women. Sometimes we're literally cornered and they manipulate us into a scenario. There's all sorts of things that happen. But it's easier for us to get sucked into that than it is men. And so what you can do is just, keep in mind, you can stay in your own lane. You can go shopping and not pay attention to anybody or anything else, even if you are an introvert. Okay. Believe it or not, hi, Maria. I am thank you for sharing this and tagging people. I am an introvert. I am kind of balanced, but I'm way more on the introvert side. You would never know it. Nobody that knows me believes that, but it's actually the truth. That means I don't like to spend time out in public. I really don't like crowds. I'm okay with it for a short amount of time. I handle it great, but I don't like it. And the more I am, the more I need alone time or time with my horses and animals to recharge, because being an introvert means you recharge alone. It doesn't mean that you're shy and a wallflower. It means that you recharge alone, whereas an extrovert recharges around others. Right. So, for those of you that might find the holiday even more stressful, you might be a little more on that introverted side, even if you're friendly and social like I am. In which case, yes, the online is awesome. That's you, Maria. Um, the online shopping is great. Choose things that you love. Like my husband and I love to go to concerts, or we'll go to a festival of lights. We'll choose a time we know it's not as crowded. We always navigate to the places less busy at the time. And we enjoy ourselves. And honestly, I just pay attention to him and what we're there to focus on. I literally just tune the people out, and you can learn to do that too. Yeah. Let's see here. We're getting into the, you want to read that, Susie, since I've been chatting away?
Okay. Ward saying, ho, ho, ho. Santa makes his way through the cold, wet snow. Christmas time is near. Finally, I see the light outside. Snowflakes drop a sound, almost not to hear. The balls to Christmas hang. Hopping like a dreamer, hop, 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 the star on top. I don't want Christmas to end. Please, Santa, come back next year. I'll leave my sock on the flame of my stove. Santa, thank you. And Jess, I love you too. I love it. That's beautiful. Thank you.
We definitely have a poet in our midst here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But even that is in itself is a reminder of how peaceful it can be if you just stop, be present, and really take away any worries or concerns of the external. That comment there, was it snowflakes drop a sound, almost not to hear. And that to me is so resonant of the energy of silence, or just taking a moment to stop. And we have that phrase, don't we? Stop and smell the roses. Well, I guess for the festive season, it's stop and listen for a snowflake. But it's the same thing, isn't it? It's about just taking that time out, and again, we can call on our angels and that to help us with these times and these moments. It really is about, for me, stepping into that silence, just even if it's just for a few seconds, that breath. And hence why I say I have that many pit stops when I go out shopping. We can so forget to be mindful of being present and in the now. We get so hooked into the hype that goes with Christmas, the need to be. And ultimately, I feel one of the things that I've discovered for myself was that it wasn't about everybody else at the end of the day. Yes, the gift giving and the preparation and having family and friends around, that is about them being invited into your space. But ultimately, for me, at the core of everything, it is about me. It's about the choices that I want to make, and even the boundaries that I want to set around it. And I think we just forget to set those boundaries. Just because it's Christmas and it's a festive time doesn't mean to say that you've got to let all those boundaries go and allow the energy of everybody else to come in and be on top of you almost, you know, with the expectations. I mean, a very popular and famous medium, James Van Praagh, said to me once in person, what other people think of you is none of your business. And I live by that premise quite a lot, really. So I think, well, if I do something that perhaps my sons don't like, somebody in my family doesn't like, it's not a case of, well, that's tough. It's just a case of, actually, that's okay. That's your choice not to like it, but this is my choice. This is my reason for doing what I'm doing, and just keeping within my boundaries of doing that. But I just calling in your angels, or just, if it's not angels that you work with, just take a moment to breathe. We get so focused on everything else. Yes, we breathe naturally, normally, that, and it's automatic. But when I'm saying take a moment to breathe, I literally am saying take a moment to breathe. Just stop and just take a nice deep breath in and relax, and a deep breath out, and just feel that energy shift. Just know that that's shifted, and then sort of recalibrate and start again.
Absolutely. And you know, guys, this is, you
Hi,
know,
Natalie.
what we're trying to do here too is I'm going to go to Maria's one response, because again, you guys will hear me repeat reminders a lot. And the reason is because repetition is key. Everything you think and believe and do and experience as a human being is due to habits and repetition. And so we live in a world that tells us we can change things like that. But in truth, we have to go through these processes, and we have to allow and start to look at life as a process. This sounds like I'm just teaching mindset stuff when I say this, and you're like, what, this is supposed to be about angels. Well, it is about angels, because the spirit world is constantly in process. The angels, the spirit guides, your loved ones, even fairies and beings from higher vibrating dimensional realms understand that everything is in process. Human beings, and in this really lower frequency dimension that we're in, are really some of the ones that struggle the most with this whole idea of process. We're experiencing things in the moment, but we don't perceive that we're experiencing them in the moment. And so, you know, the angels and spirit guides are constantly giving us certain messages that are consistent, whether we know it or not. They're constantly encouraging us to be present, which is something that as human beings we have to remember how to do, because that's how and who we are in spirit. They are constantly encouraging and teaching us to utilize surrender. And one of the things I like to do here on these videos is let you know that there's a different interpretation in the spirit world, in higher consciousness, for terms like surrender. Surrender unleashes a power of transformation. It unleashes your power to change a scenario. And so when we are looking at things like, the Hollywood or the popular version of surrender, right? We're taught never surrender, fight for what you want, be the loudest one in the room. Well, okay, that's ego. And that seems as though it's winning. But you have to be patient for the outcome of a truer power. Okay. And remember, it's not about power. Again, it's about you. So, in my years and years of martial arts, this became so obvious, you guys might have heard the quote, the quietest person in the room is the most dangerous. Well, this is actually very true. And all of my martial arts masters, they were social and friendly, a lot of them, just like we are here. But their demeanor was one of silence and observation. And there was a wisdom there. And I want to tie that to Maria's comment about what I was talking about before, when Susie and I were talking about getting out and shopping in the holiday season. And she says, big time. I know she was relating to what we were talking about as far as, being an introvert and, you know, how we handle being out and about. She says, I get drained in big crowds and just can't wait to get out of the busy stores. People tend to be rude, especially in the holidays. So if we back all this up and we go down another layer, why do people tend to be rude? Well, there's a lot of reasons. Hi, Natalie. For some people, it's just simply that they're stressed. And remember, the 95% of your mind you're not aware of, guys. That's 95%. Most of your mind, your thinking, processing mind, you aren't even aware of. So if you get irritated or pissy, or you see a person that's angry and pissy, their conscious mind is going to say, well, I'm mad because this person did this, or this didn't happen right, or I'm waiting in line. But their subconscious mind is working on all sorts of other things. Oh, if you're not first, they're ignoring you and they're judging you. Oh, look at that line. You're going to be here for 3 hours and then you're going to be late for all these things. The subconscious mind is working on things you don't even know it's working on, which is why how you choose to perceive and behave consciously is so important, because you can set yourself up to override those things. And you might have to set the intention as you go out into the world, but you can also ask your angels to assist you. Ask them to, you can't dump it all on them, but you can ask for their assistance. Please guide me to have divine timing today so that my day works out smoothly. And then you have to trust it. Or, you might not be able to say something like, please help me avoid all the lines. Maybe you will. But how cooperative are you really with that? You might not be aware of where you don't cooperate with that, because they will help you with what you ask for. But you might say something like, please help me avoid all the lines today. But then you have a list of 10 places you have to go, and you're unwilling to change that order in that list. Well, that might land you then in some long lines. But let's say you're willing to miss a parking spot and not get angry, or get caught in a traffic line and have to take a detour. Those might be ways in which your angels are actually assisting you in avoiding those lines. So my point here is, you have to, when you're working with spirit, you also have to trust, because you have to be able to allow them to answer your requests. Okay. All right, let's go down and see who else is commenting here. Trying to get
Before we continue on with the comments that we've got coming in, and thank you everybody for sharing. Natalie sent us a private question.
Oh, wonderful.
Through Messenger. So I'll read it. I have given her a little reply in the Messenger message, but it was a question for Angels in Action, because one of the things we have said previously is that if you have a specific question in mind, and I know sometimes I'm the same, I go away and I think, oh, I wish I'd said that, or I wish I'd asked that question now. You can always send it to us privately, and we will use it as a question for when we come on and do the lives. So Natalie's question was, well, it's more of an explanation, but then followed by a question. I had a very spiritual experience tonight and felt a very different kind of love. I had my forehead resting against my husband's forehead. From my third eye, I saw myself falling into the back of my head. I was in a cloud formation with lightning bolts gently moving horizontally through the clouds. I felt a deep sense of love, more richer than I could ever describe. As I kept falling further down into the clouds, the sense of love deepened. I could feel this heavy, comforting peace throughout my entire being. And her question is, does this deeper sense of love come from the angelic realm? Bless her. She's saying face red, heart shape. So my reply to her was, first of all, phenomenal, beautiful experience, Natalie, and one that will stay with you forever. I am absolutely certain, because these experiences, when they happen, are just so opening. And I feel very, very much a deep sense of heart opening around this, that there was a connection. So for me, the feeling is, yes, your angels were around you. They were holding you, supporting you. I feel very strongly that Raphael was with you during this wonderful heart opening experience that you were having. But their support was there, I feel, to hold you, because what was actually taking place for you was, and it's however you, whatever your beliefs are, however you want to describe it, but I just feel it was like a deep divine connection that you were having through your own soul, spirit, and higher consciousness that was taking you to that level of connecting with God, divine source, universal energy, universal source, whatever your belief and however you want to describe it. Because again, this is my sense, this is what I feel is taking place around this for you. But you have to know in yourself what it was for you and how that feels right. So some of what I'm saying may resonate for you, it may not, but it's about taking that, working with it, and then just seeing what feels right. But for me, it was like you were being held by the angels. They were like your support system while you had this experience. Because I feel if you'd had that experience without that, this sudden energy and light and consciousness, awareness could have been completely overwhelming. But they held you in a space that you were able to experience it without that huge sense of overwhelm. Because sometimes when we go into overwhelm like that, it can almost become a sense of a feeling of fear, and then we just disconnect because of that. Whereas being held and nurtured in this way, you were able to have that beautiful experience.
Deborah Williams and Michelle, welcome.
Hi, ladies.
Susie, I completely agree with you. I want to add in my perception of this happening as well, is that this is how it always is. You're just experiencing it. And that happens very commonly, very often. We have an experience that is profound and spiritual. And for the amount of time that we experience it, we see it as that is when it is happening. And in truth, oftentimes, I believe, as is in your situation, that is always your connection with your husband. I've told you for a long time, you guys have a soul connection. That soul connection is always there. Your experience last night was merely your consciousness being able to be aware of it. You seeing through the veil enough, your frequency at a place enough, your mindset at the right place where you were able to experience your reality as it truly is. And that is, that's quite different. So, you can all keep this in mind. That I'm looking at this one too. Whoops. You guys can all keep this in mind, that when you have these profound experiences, sometimes they are just profound experiences. Sometimes they're profound experiences as human being, but they're actually revealing the way things are. It's just that for that limited amount of time, you get to experience that, right? Just like when, I told the story of my spirit guide, Aiden, in my spirit guide video from 2 Saturdays ago. He's always there like that in his full form. But he can't keep his vibration low enough that he can sustain that for me to experience. So I think moving forward, Natalie, it's very important that you remember that is validation for your spirit and soul connection with your husband. When you guys see all those drawings and posts on social media about different souls, and a lot of times they're drawn like lines and souls merging and things like that, that's representative of energy and energetic patterns. What makes up your physical body is the oscillation of energy. That is what makes that's what makes physical reality. It is the oscillation of the electromagnetic energy. at a particular frequency. Without that oscillation, just the way that it is at a particular frequency, you would not experience anything physical. So what you were seeing was kind of a pullback, a reveal when you were at a moment where you could experience it of your true connection. I just thought it was funny, Natalie. You said you asked for help when driving. I know you and I both do this, and you may be late. I asked then to go to let go of the outcome and don't look at the time either. That's perfect. I wanted to post this comment quickly for everyone because remember, that reminded me, Natalie, thank you. You got to let go of the outcome. So when you're asking for something or you have an intention, Eckhart Tolle is really good about reminding us of this. And Susie's very good at practicing this. You can't then hang on to the outcome. You have to teach yourself that is in the letting go of it, that you're allowing yourself to receive it. Because if the law of attraction, which is just one of many hundreds of laws, right, of the universe, but when we hang on, the message we're sending is, I'm afraid of not having it. I need it. I want it. It's a disempowered energy. It's not a vibration of receiving. When we let go and we trust the process and we toss it out there and we know if it's right for us, it's going to come to us, it's going to happen, it's going to work out, then we are allowed for effortless effort. So that's really important. Thank you for that, Natalie, and thanks for joining us. It's awesome. Let's see here. Our little sorry guys, when we say hi to you, I've got to figure this out. We've got to figure this out. Susie will probably figure it out before I do. When we respond to you guys, hi Rachel, welcome.
Yeah, it responds from every page.
Yeah, it responds from every page.
I've had a quick look. I don't think we can change it. I think it's just
okay. All right. Well, bear with us.
So we have get lots of lovely highs and hellos.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Rachel's just joined us. Hi, Rachel. Lovely to see you, Angel. Rachel's a beautiful friend of mine. She lives in Cornwall.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Welcome.
And it's been such a long time since I've actually spoken to her, so it's great to see her here. And hi, Michelle. Lovely to see you. Thanks for popping in. We haven't got to the point of picking up and doing any readings or anything at this moment. We're just having a wonderful conversation about angels and spirit and how they can help us through this festive.
Here we go. Here's Michelle asking for a reading. I was actually going to say thank you guys, and that's awesome because it takes a lot of pressure off of us to be allowed to share with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this group, and I'm just going to compliment you all for this. As readers, and one of the reasons that for years I didn't get on and read, I stopped getting online, was because every time I got online as a reader to make an announcement, to share something special, to give an important lesson, every single time I did this, I was bombarded with readings. And if people didn't get readings immediately, they would leap off. They didn't care. You didn't call on them. They'd leave. They were only on for a reading. And we love doing readings. I love doing readings, but I just want to thank you guys for allowing us this time today. And you all usually do, to share a little wisdom from spirit, to do a little more conversation and teaching first, because when people hop on just for a reading and then they run off, they're usually not going to get as much out of it, honestly, because their mindset is to come and get something. And they often don't get into the conversation that shifts the frequency of their mindset so they can even apply the reading. So I just want to thank you all for giving us that time today and allowing us in these broadcasts. I mean, this is very important to Susie and I both, like to be able to actually have a relaxed conversation and not feel like we're constantly putting you guys off for a reading or we're bombarded by that. We feel like you guys are really here to learn and converse. Because we want you to learn to work with spirit, not just rely on us, but to allow us to help you all to work with spirit. So Michelle, we'll get to you in just a minute. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to get to this. Susie, go ahead and read it for us if you don't mind.
Yeah, we've come back to Ward. So Ward's written, "Who am I? Just myself and nothing more than I already was. Now a young man who has always been the child of the past. Later, when I am old, I will still be who I have been. And that is the sense of my spirit, whether I was a child or I'm here in the present or in the future. In the end, my age is only the indication of my years. But all the while, there is no difference. I was and am and always will be just Ward, a kid who wanted to have fun, an old man who sometimes pushed his limits." And for me, what this is bringing to mind is how important it is to allow that flow of energy with spirit, with the angels, to come through to you in whichever creative form that is. And for Ward, it is so very evident that it's through his words, you know, and I'm sure if we were to sit down and talk to Ward on a one-to-one, we would find that there is so much wisdom within these words that he writes. And thank you, Ward, for sharing this. This is absolutely beautiful. And I love it because for me, the essence of what is being said here is to stay present. We're back to what I said just now, but in a different form. Stay present. Don't think about the past as in who you were and the present or the future. Just be in the now, in this moment, because whilst he says there's no difference, I would say that there may be subtle differences, subtle changes that come in the work that you do. And I'm sure as Ward, as you write more and you share your words more in this way, you will see that you have changed, that the things are different. I mean, I am the soul and spirit of me is who I was, are. I don't know, words fail me now because the English language is doesn't always express what you feel in energy. But for me as an individual in the human form, I have changed, I have evolved. I am different to the Susie that was 20 years old to the Susie that is now 60 odd years, 64 years old. And I know that in that core and essence of me, my soul and spirit is the same, because my soul and spirit has had the opportunity now to evolve and grow and to be present and show who I am and who I probably was all those years ago. But the ego, the human, the peer pressure, the family, the life that I was leading at the time all presented challenges for me that made me appear different. So there's so much within these words that Ward's written that I could just go on and talk about ad infinitum, I think. But I just guess for me, the gist of what is coming through here is it's about the words that come to you and the words that you write. And if one of the things that you want to do is to connect to spirit, connect to the angels in ways that strengthen what connections you're already making, then use time of being present, of just writing words that come to you, and then just reflect on those words. And the meaning of those words may not be immediately evident. They may not even make sense to you. I mean, I'm moving house at the moment, so I'm packing up and finding notebooks and journals that I wrote 10, 15, 20 years ago. And at times I'm just sat and I'm opening it up and I'm like reading what I wrote all those years ago and looking at it and thinking, I understand that now. I didn't when I wrote it, but it makes sense to me now because I've changed, evolved, moved forward, grown, however you want to describe it. So people say, have an angel altar, write letters to your angels and leave them, and know that they will get the sense of what you've written, and your answers will start to come to you. I say take that one step further. Take that to be, write the words, yes, write it to your angel, spirit, whoever you want to write it to, but don't just leave it. Read it again and really absorb what you've written and reflect on it, and then maybe go back to it and write it out again, because sometimes the mind has a thought or a perception of what's been written, whereas the subconscious knows that there's something within that that needs to come out. So when you rewrite it, you take yourself into a space where other words can start to flow. You can have a conversation with yourself on paper as well. You can write a question, is there something you want to ask the angels or spirit, and you write it as a question, and then you can go back to it and you can just sit with it and see what thoughts flow in this instance, and you may well find that the answer comes, and that be a way for you to receive the information that the angels are bringing you or spirit are bringing you.
I want to, that's so beautiful, Susie. It's so powerful. And I think word comment has evoked so many really powerful concepts here. And I was just replying to Tracy's comment. I want to get to Michelle's reading in just a moment. But I wanted to, let's see if that worked. Did it work? Yep. All my comments worked, all 5 of them. The thing I want to add into this too, again, I'm going to pull way back and be very general about this, is when we're here in human form, I'm just saying this generally because it's what the conversation really between Ward and Susie is bringing to the consciousness right now, is that, when we go and we're thinking things or feeling things or writing things or saying or sharing things about our essence and who we are, it's one and the same, and yet it is separate. We find that in the spirit world, contradiction is not contradictory at all. In human form, as human personalities, with our egoic self and our bodies, yes, we are physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, cosmic. We have the eternal aspects to ourselves, that is that consciousness that is here bringing this temporary form to life. And in that temporary form, we go through these phases that change and shift and are that person. And they're that person we get to play and experience for that short amount of time. And so we often, whether you're journaling or you're writing something like Word just shared with us, or you're talking about it like Susie was, you can ask yourself, which aspect of this, which experiential part of you are you referring to? Because the eternal part of us is source. It is God. The eternal consciousness that has been given free will, that comes in and out of lifetimes, has part of that essence that is, always will be, always has been, always will be, is forever the I am, the unchanging I am. The irony is that in that unchanging I am is the essence, is, always has been, and always will be that essence. But the evolution, the growth and evolution will also always be. There is no end to that evolution of the soul. For all eternity, there never has been and there never will be. And interestingly enough, if you can wrap your mind around this, part of most of the stuff that's really relevant, guys, we can't wrap our mind around. But you can have your own experience through your own spiritual development and consciousness, where you can know these things that I'm sharing. You might not be able to verbally, I can't verbally express and explain to you exactly what I'm trying to share here. But those of you ready to get it, or that already get it, will know what I'm referring to. It has to be an experiential evolution. Okay. the truth is that even your own existence, even your own life experience is part of the evolution of the I am. The extension of God that is you is part of the evolution of God, source itself. And so, you know, there's no depth limit in which we can pick up to this, guys. And as you write about it, as you know, as Ward is, as you guys journal about this on your own, what you'll find is that your own cosmic memory wisdom, your own angels and spirit guides will give you the bits and pieces of this to help you evolve and become aware of this essence and this no end to getting to know yourself and remembering who you are. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Michelle, we're ready for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ward, for sharing your lovely words. So, yes, we've got 2 or 3 ladies now asking. So I'm thinking perhaps the next 15, 20 minutes, doing a few little quick readings, and then we'll be finishing off, I guess, on that note.
Sounds wonderful. I'm going to star these here. Deborah, Melody, Michelle. We'll start with Michelle.
Yeah.
I'm sure we don't miss these, so I'm going to star these here.
So as always, I've got the cards going.
Hey, Chrissy.
Yeah, hi, Chrissy.
Let's see. So, Michelle, is there something particular that you're concerned about that you would like us to focus on today? I'm looking to make sure there's nobody else here I missed here. I'm just tuning into the energy around you while I'm asking you this here. And Chrissy, we have Chrissy too. Okay. And Tracy. Okay. Excellent. All right, let's see here what we've got going on. So what I'm doing, Michelle, right now, let's see, not really. Okay. So I'm going to throw this out there and then I'm going to show you what I'm starting to see for you. Okay. Sometimes, guys, if you ask for a reading or what we see for you and there's kind of a delay, it doesn't mean that there's nothing there for you. There's always something there for you. But usually, so spirit usually steps forward when people are really needing something, or there's something really desperate or in particular that, you know, is going to ease your mind or help guide you, or that they want to get through to you. So if there's a delay, it doesn't mean you're less important or anything like that. It doesn't mean that spirit isn't there for you. What I find in my own experience is it means there's nothing vital that you need to know right now. There's nothing vital that you're not necessarily doing. It's great to give you information, but it's not something that, you know, that that other spirit would take a back seat for, saying that it's something vital, which usually means you're whatever it is you're doing or you're aware of or you're in touch with is okay. So it sort of just becomes more of you know, something that you can enjoy type of reading, or something that will assist you. But oftentimes it's either not new information, or like I've got a lot of people that will follow me around and every week they'll ask for a reading. And usually there aren't a lot of, sometimes there are, but there usually aren't a lot of changes that go on between that time, because spirit tries to come through for you when you need them, when you have a reader there. So it might be less significant than, let's say, for someone that's been waiting for a reading for a long time. So for you, Michelle, I pick up a little more casual type of thing, nothing like really vital, especially because there was nothing here that you said, oh, I need to know this or that. You know, I'm being asked to focus, Michelle, on the transition from the end of this year for you into moving into next year. And, you know, that, you know, spirit, especially your spirit guides and your angels, you know, are working to encourage you to sort of find a lovely sum up for this year to really kind of look and assess, and you might be doing this already. What I see and pick up on is the assessment of sort of, what did you want to become, not just accomplish, but become this year? What internal mechanisms were you working on this year for yourself that will, in the inner transformation, lead you to a more abundant and relaxing and joyful year next year? I actually see a lot of high energy, Michelle, in 2024 for you. A lot of energy there. And that could indicate a lot of changes and transformation. It always indicates I'm careful to use always and never, but for me in readings, I find that it always indicates a progressing forward as far as potential and opportunity. So if you have visions and dreams and things that you've been working on for a while, that you've been kind of waiting to come to fruition, I see that high potential is there for you moving forward in 2024. Okay. I think Susie pulled a card or so for you.
Yeah.
So Susie.
Okay, lovely. So the first card I pulled for you is listening. And the second one is the divine director. And that's about trust the process, create space for divine order to unfold. I'm very much aware of a lady in spirit around you, Michelle. And I keep hearing repeated the word June. So this may be a name or the month of June, but she just keeps repeating. But she's also tugging on my right ear. And I feel this is related to the word listening, that there's something going on. You've been putting questions out there into the universe, whether this be to spirit or angels, but you are asking, there's a lot of, I've got my mind is doing this. There's lots of questions being put out there. There's lots of things, thoughts being processed. But what I feel you're being made aware to do now is to listen. You're doing everything right in that you're getting ready for some changes that are coming up, because I'm being shown a crossroads. I feel very much you're at a crossroads at the moment, and very much about connecting with what Larkin was saying. This is going to, the choices that you make now will help you move into 2024 and move in the right direction. But to be able to achieve that process, there needs to be some listening. I feel it's about, you need to listen to your heart as well. You're listening to your mind a lot. You're questioning, because it's like you have a thought, you ask the question, and then before you get a chance to really absorb any messages or replies that are coming to you, and remember, they don't always come to you in the way that you expect them. It's about being open to receiving in other ways, because our angels and spirit will always find a way to get a message to us, be it through a third party in something, that a conversation that you overhear or have, be it through a book that you might pick up and read. There will always be some way that they will manage to find a way to connect with you. But for you, very much, I feel there's this need to listen. You need to hear what's being said. I'm being shown this Ferris wheel now, so I just feel there may be a connection to somebody in the world of spirit that would have liked fairgrounds. So there feels to me that there is a lot of people, loved ones, in the world of spirit that are around you. It's almost like they're becoming and are your cheerleaders. They want the changes that you're going to make to happen. They're really there, pushing you forward almost. There's this sense. But to be able to spend some time listening, as I look at the divine director, I'm very much aware of creating a space that's a space for you. Now, it doesn't have to be indoors, it could be outdoors, but there needs to be this sense of you having this space where you can just be, where you can sit, and where you can just spend time in this space. Now, we talk about sacred space. We can make sacred space wherever we go just by setting the intention. You could go and sit in the middle of a field, or you could go and sit in the park under a tree. You can sit in your living room, and you can just create that sacred space by setting the intention that this is what it's going to be. Now, you can use extras. Larkin loves her incense. I love my candles. So between us, we create our sacred spaces in our own way. Because when you're in that sacred space, when you've got that time, you don't get a lot of peace. This is about finding some time to make peace. Now, it could be just for 5 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be. We think we need to spend hours. You know, we don't. We can spend 5 minutes just creating in our energy field, in our awareness, in our thoughts. This is my intention, to set this sacred space for the next 5 minutes where I am going to have peace. And it's as simple as that. And then you will find that over time, that 5 minutes will become 10 minutes, will become 20, will become half an hour, because the angels and spirit have a beautiful way. Time is linear, it's man-made. Everything else is energy. So when we sit and we have no concept of thinking to ourselves, I've only got this amount of time, I've only got 5. No, let's just throw all that out the window and literally just set the intention to have sacred space without any time limitations on it. And you will notice how that space and energy expands. But to be able to hear and listen, you need to just do that to start with. So thank you very much.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Michelle. And I look forward to seeing what you do as we move into 2024. It's beautiful, Susie. Thank you.
Welcome. Who have we got next?
Let's see. We've got Tracy here. The drawn things. Okay. See, it was a beautiful message, Tracy, wasn't it?
Thank you.
Hello, Sarav. Welcome. And I want to throw out there too, guys, you know, because for a lot of you, you might hear us share the spirit is coming through with messages of, you know, creating a safe space or a peaceful space. And start to pay attention to the subtleties, guys, because you may find that, you know, like for me, I get called to that. So, you know, I could just be about my day or whatever, and all of a sudden, boom, I just have this deep sense of inner peace radiating from me. That is this urge, this calling to go and take a few moments of, you know, peace in a sacred space. I might not be at home with a sacred space I've set up. It might be somewhere else, but it doesn't matter because I have sacred space within me. So you guys might start noticing that you know, you all have that. You might notice that you start being able to recognize and pay attention to that. Michelle says, oh, thank you. I'm going to do that. Thank you so much. Gratitude and love back to you both. Yay. Yeah. Enjoy, Michelle. Thank you for joining us today. Let's see. Tracy is wanting a reading. Tracy, is there something in particular you'd like to focus on? I know I usually ask people this and they'll say no, just what anything. But if there is something in particular that you're wanting, since we're just taking a few minutes here for reading, please let us know. I'm checking out your energy right now. Susie is drawing cards for you.
Do you want me to start?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. So Tracy, your first card out is wisdom. Another bit shiny. And then linked to that, you have Buddha, which is heightened awareness, make peace with your thoughts and your world. One of the things as Larkin was talking and she brought your name up on for me, I felt a very close energy around you of a gentleman who would have had connection to bikes. Now, I don't know whether this is bicycles or motorbikes, but there just feels there's this connection to this energy of, but symbolically for me as well. Quite often when I get a connection with spirit and they bring in something as an imagery, and if that imagery is something that you don't recognize, then I see it as symbolism. And I am very, very much aware of this bike or the whether it be perfect. Thank you very much. But also the symbolism of this bike is about movement. It's about creating movement. You know, to get a bike to move, we either have to pedal it, or if it's a motorbike, we have an engine, we turn it on and it moves. So there's something very much now that you have to really start making progress. It feels like I feel like I'm stuck. I feel like my feet are in mud, and I'm trying to like pull myself forward because I just feel like I'm stuck at the moment. But there's a lot of wisdom coming in and around you as well. So there's almost this sense and feeling that you already know what it is that you need to be doing to make the progress that you need to be making, or you want to make. There's ideas, thoughts, plans, dreams, desires. There's all this going on around you, but it's almost like you're holding yourself back. Particularly with the Buddha card saying, make peace with your thoughts and your world. So I feel that there's something within you that either consciously or subconsciously you're holding yourself back. You know, there's this phrase coming through, we're our own worst enemy. And I do feel that there are times when you are in fact doing that to yourself. Now, whether you do it as an intention or whether you do it subconsciously, it's all around the energy of what's taking place. So what right, okay, I'm being shown pen and paper. So there's lots of paperwork here going on. So there's something around you needing to write. So whether this be that you write down your thoughts and you start getting them out on paper, as we've already talked about earlier. This gentleman in spirit was a very fast talker as well. He liked his words. I don't know if he was very well read or he just liked writing, but there's very much a sense of he liked his words. And it's about you speaking your truth as well, because you have the wisdom, you already have the ideas, the thoughts of what it is you want to do and where you want to go. So you need to really draw in on that essence and that energy, but also be aware of where you're placing those thoughts and how those thoughts are sounding. You know, thoughts are energy. Energy is ad infinitum, and energy creates our reality. So this is very much about you coming into this bubble of wisdom. I don't know why I'm saying that, but that's what I'm being shown. I'm being shown this bubble of wisdom, and it's got like there's like lots of little sparks of ideas coming off this, but something is holding this bubble tight and it needs to be released and relaxed. And I do feel this is about you changing how you perceive your thoughts and where you place those thoughts. Over to you,
Yeah.
Larkin.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think I think that is very spot on. And I think that, again, as we're moving into 2024, mindset wise, this is a great opportunity for you to incorporate, your spiritual path, not so much intellectually where you want to go, although there's nothing wrong with that, but intuitively, where are you drawn? Where is spirit? Where is your higher self pulling you this year to that next precipice of consciousness? I think it's very pertinent that Susie drew the Buddha card for you and you wanted to know about your spiritual path. And it's your grandfather and your angels, your whole spiritual team know that one of your soul's desires is to reach another level of your evolution here in this lifetime, and very much so wanting to reach other levels of conscious awakening and use your human form in which to do that. And they are all very much encouraging and supporting you. And so I see all of your, challenges and obstacles and opportunities are all working for that, because I see that was actually your, one of your main significant pillars of coming and incarnating this time, was the circumstances, the lifestyle, everything. The opportunity was just right for you to do that. And you have some amazing opportunities coming forward for you this year. And it means that, though, you're going to have to step out into, if you want to shift into this new conscious reality, you're going to actually have to, in practice, make some shifts that are outside of your comfort zone, that are new, that are unfamiliar to you, because they will take you to that new level. And I see you doing that this year. I see you having some, challenges doing that, but I also see you being very, reaping the rewards and the excitement and the aha moments of that this year as well. I'm also being asked to share with you that it's not going to be, everything isn't just going to happen this year, but this year will be a big opportunity for that conscious awakening and that conscious shift, to sort of really initiate the process of your next level in your spiritual journey. Another thing I'm being reminded to share is, and this is important for everyone, remember that when we get caught up in our conscious identity and labeling and measuring, even if you think you're not doing that, that is not spirituality. So remember that the spiritual path that you're truly seeking is not the one that you are labeling, is not necessarily the one you are identifying with. To get to that next level of consciousness, you will be stepping out of the familiar. And I'm excited for you this year. I see a beautiful awakenings and openings for you on your spiritual path in 2024. Don't forget, all of you, don't forget, your whole life is your spiritual path. Your whole journey and evolution is your spiritual path. Okay. So you may get out of alignment, but you can't get off of your spiritual path because it all is. Okay. So just go with that. And thank you, Tracy. I love those. I love these questions where people are feeling that inner pull of alignment and consciousness, conscious journey. Yes.
I'm going to have to leave the scrolling and comments to you, Larkin, because for some reason my mouse has decided to stop working properly.
No, I see you, Allison. We'll get to you in just a moment. I do actually have to get off, guys, no later than 12:30 or 2:30 today. But let's quick go to Chrissy, and then we'll go to Allison.
So who are you drawn to next?
Let's see. I'm doing an order here in which they came in here. Let's see. We have Chrissy. Let me scroll down too and see if there's any other.
Well, I've seen Deborah asked for one earlier on.
Yeah, I think I starred her too. It may be farther up, but let's get through Chrissy and then we'll go back.
Okay.
We may not get to everybody here. I see Melody's on there too. Yeah, Melody and Deborah. Okay. Well, let's do Chrissy and then and I know Allison, you want one too. So we'll try to keep these brief here. Let me scroll back up here so I can see.
So we're doing Chrissy. It's Chrissy now, is it?
Here, yeah.
All
right. Tracy says, "Oh, fantastic, Larkin and Susie. This has helped me immensely. I'm so glad."
Thank you, Tracy.
Yes.
Okay.
So Chrissy, why am I seeing a mess? Is there something going on that you feel that is sort of a mess of things right now that you are hoping to have guidance in sort of clarifying, or is it that you feel that there is that the end of the year is sort of maybe not in order the way that you're wanting? Are you trying to get things more like organized and in order moving forward, whether it be something that you're thinking or something that you're experiencing? Because what's coming in for me very strongly is I'm seeing like a whole mess of things. So let me know what that's referring to. I do see that that things getting sorted out and more simple and more clear as the year goes on. Probably not until late spring, early summer. But it seems as though there are some things that need to be sort of sorted and simplified and untangled. Yes, you're hoping to get December over with. Yeah, join the club. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, so join the club. I mean, December has literally been absolutely for me. I know personally it's been nonstop every single day. It's been insane. which is very unusual for me. But it's, I want you guys to look at this, is that when a lot of things are kind of seem to be blowing up your face, or things, I mean, like I said, with you, Spirit just showed me just a mess. Like things just seem like they're a mess to you. That will get better. A lot of times when we experience that, what it is it's the cleaning out of old energy. It's the process and the transformation of transition. It's the preparing for new and better. It is the preparing for the organized and the reorganization. So you have to really just kind of hang in tight there. And what I would say before I turn you over to Susie here too, is that really apply non-reaction, because a lot of what you're dealing with, the mind always thinks, oh, we have to deal with this, we have to handle this, we have to fix this, we have to fix that. And that's really not always the case. A lot of times it's just important to sit still and really pick and choose what it is we respond to. Make sure we're responding, not reacting, and to really apply non-reaction, because a lot of times it's not even just all us. It's the energy fields that we're in, energy circles that we're involved with as well. And a lot of times when we just sit still and we only respond to the things we absolutely have to, and we don't believe our mind when it's telling us we have to react and respond to things, a lot of times what happens is we can just reduce our effort and just sit still and peacefully. It speeds up the process of things slowing down. A lot of times we just have to allow things to sort of push past us and just take care of themselves, which is what a lot of what I see happening around you is that there's a lot of belief into feeling overwhelmed, that there's so much to do and handle. There's so much going on. It's such a crazy month. But in truth, a lot of what your mind is believing it has to react and respond to, it really doesn't. And if you just sit still, you'll notice a lot of things will pan themselves out. Yes, I agree. I can be known to be overreacting. Yeah. Well, most people are. The ego says that when you're thinking and doing, the ego always believes it has to be doing, and it feels pressure, and then it stirs things up and makes things worse and prolongs things. This is why some of the great masters really practice non-reaction, because it can really pan out what you actually have to deal with and what really is just hype over nothing and will actually take care of itself. Susie?
Thank you. Before I continue, I have got you, Chrissy. Don't worry. You will see a comment in here about somebody requesting a pocket money week.
Yes.
It's my son.
Oh, that's funny. I was wondering if I should block him, and I couldn't even find a way to do it. I was like, who is this?
So please don't block him.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a tendency sometimes to do this, pop up on my little lives and ask for his pocket money. The fact that he's a full-grown man is irrelevant.
That's funny.
So hence why I was smiling while you were reading. But yeah.
Welcome. Yes.
Okay. So beautiful, Larkin. Thank you so much. And interestingly, as Spirit, I always want to do and beautifully work it in. The first card I drew out for Chrissy before you started reading is Lagoon. And for me, Lagoon is very much about peace, tranquility, finding that quiet time, trying to settle into a space where all the turmoil, because if you think about where a lagoon sits in the ocean, you've got the sea doing its thing, creating waves crashing against the beach or whatever. But a lagoon is one of those little areas within an island or the sea space where it is so peaceful and calm. And it's very much, I feel about this is what the angels want to connect with you and bring you, Chrissy, is a lot of peace and calm. You've got Dwal Kul. This says divine mission, enlightened action, make choices from the heart. You had two cards, they were stuck together. You have El Moira, and it's spiritual force field. Protective light is surrounding you. You are safe. And I feel very much that a lot of this turmoil is almost this feeling of that if you don't get things done, and then you're not going to be able to achieve what you want to achieve. And it has almost the reverse effect. it takes you out of that space of peace and calm and tranquility, puts you into an energy of turmoil, and then you're not able to really focus. I get a sense of overthinking. Perhaps you worry a little bit too much about certain things, and it's about trusting that your angels, guides, spirit are around you. They are working with you. They are very much bringing you into this energy of serenity, almost, that I want to say, because you do spend too much time in your head overthinking things. I'm being shown a book, but I'm being shown a sort of, I don't want to say the Bible, but almost a book that would have prayers in it. So there's something about, so this is you taking your spiritual path to the next level. It's about taking yourself out of the egoic mind and coming into your heart. So it's very much about finding that connection, because with Dwal Kul, he's saying make choices from the heart. And I do feel that there are times when you've thought about something, you've made a choice, and then you've gone, oh, I wish I'd listened. Almost if you intuitively knew that you were listening to the wrong choice to make. Even though I believe there are no wrong choices, there are no right choices, there are no wrong choices, there are just choices. And with those choices, they take us to into an energy of process. Sorry, I've just been distracted by this lovely comment here. Spiritual tarot reading. Thank you very much for offering to do a reading. But we would like to continue as we are. So I'm just going to block this user. Thank you very much for your time. Lovely to see you. Yeah. So we'll just ignore these comments. So yeah, so coming back to your reading, Chrissy, I'm being very drawn to saying meditation, finding time to, again, it's interesting how all the readings so far and what we've been talking about today is all about finding that time and space for yourself. So it's very much about you as well, finding some of that time to make this peace, to bring this peace and tranquility into your energy field, so that the more that you do that, even if you only start 5 minutes a day, just finding that little bit of sacred space time, a little bit of time for yourself where you can just go into being present, just breathing. You don't have to be meditating. You can just focus on your breath, because while you focus on breathing in and out, your mind stills. And then you will find that the more guidance and inspiration will start to come through. So I feel for you, the message here is find the peace and tranquility, make your choices from the heart, and know that you are safe. Know and trust that your angels, guides, and spirit are around you, holding you and bringing to you the things that you now need to have an awareness of, so that you can start to make those choices. So thank you so much, Chrissy. So I'll just have a look and see who else. So Tracy, Chrissy. So we'll do Melody. We'll pop Melody up. So Melody, if you're still here, Angel, if there's anything specific you would like us to look at, I'll do that for you. You're welcome, Chrissy. Thank you so much. Sorry, I got a little distracted by the incoming comments there. So in the meantime, I will shuffle some cards, because Larkin seems to have gone off screen. She may well have said what she was doing, but I was so in the zone I didn't hear or see what she was saying. Okay, so Melody, your spiritual path as well. Okay. As I'm shuffling the cards for you, Melody, I'm very much drawn to study. So I feel that there's some study to come in around you. Now, this may be just reading books based on spirituality, finding ones that resonate with you as to, so it's almost a feeling of, there have been moments where perhaps you've looked at, you've seen a book, you've thought about it, you've maybe been drawn to thinking, oh, I'll read that, but then not doing so. So just be aware where you're finding yourself being drawn to books to read that will have some sort of spiritual message within them, and be open to receiving that information from them. I'm also seeing symbols for you as well. So symbolically, symbols for me can be very much about working with energy healing, such as Reiki, to use the symbology that comes through with Reiki. I'm very much drawn to crystals around you. So these are all tools that can help you on your spiritual path. They can help bring you into an energy resonance whereby you start then attracting to you that which you need for your spiritual journey. We are all unique, we are all different, we all find a different way of doing things. But one of the things that I want to say to you that's coming up as well now with the cards that have come out for you, your first card out was kindness. And I feel very much this is about you learning to be kind to yourself. It's almost, I have this self-talk going on. I have things again with, there's a theme here through these readings. So if you were hearing some of the messages earlier, there may be something within those messages that resonate for you as well, because we can learn. You have Metatron and Sandalphon, and it's sacred connection, synchronicity, divine connection, and understanding lessons. I'm also very drawn to Archangel Michael around you, so I feel very much his presence is coming in around you. So just notice where perhaps you're drawn to the color blue. Often when we're working with our angels and they're starting to connect with us, we have a sense that we cannot feel them. We don't know that they're there. But one of their ways of helping us to know that they're there, to share their presence with us, is by bringing us our attention to colors. And blue is very much the color of Michael. But also blue for me is very much the color of communication and healing. So I do feel that your path is going to take you down a healing route. Now, this will be healing for yourself, because it's always very, very important, in my belief, that you do your own inner work as well as helping others. I lived by the premise for a very long time, healer, heal thyself. And I've spent 30 years now working with my own inner work, and I still do that. And I will continue to do that, because until you have found the understanding, the awareness, and this is where I feel the understanding, the lessons is coming in with the card, is that when we understand our own life path, we understand our own lessons, we understand the journey that we're taking and the processes that we've had to go through, then we can then resonate with those that we want to help as well. But always, it is important to be aware that it is about helping yourself first. If your cup's not full, you cannot help others with an underfilled cup, as they say. And for me, I believe that to be a truth. But there's something around this kindness with you where I want you to just be more aware of how you are treating yourself. Now, that could be in the form of self-talk. It could be in the form of almost this feeling of denying. So it feels like there are perhaps things that you would like to do or like to have. So, for example, the little analogy that's coming in here is you go to the shops and you see a really, really nice cake or a nice bar of chocolate, and you go, no, I can't have that. Definitely can't. And you deny yourself that pleasure of having that cake or that chocolate. Now, everything for me is moderation. You know, there are always going to be things that people, they will say are not healthy for us. But if you do something in moderation, I feel it brings a balance, because when we'll just go with the analogy of the chocolate bar, when you want that chocolate bar, you want to eat it, but you say, no, I can't possibly have that. It's almost like you're giving yourself a self-talk of punishment. And that's not what it's about. It's about being kind to yourself. If you have that, you see that bar of chocolate and you say, in this present moment now, I choose not to eat that, then that's a different thing. That's a different energy vibration. That's a different way of processing it. And you're not punishing yourself. You're making a choice. So I hope this is resonating for you, and it's bringing you into an understanding of where you can start to change the way that you have your perception of yourself, is what I want to say. And bring that kindness, that energy of kindness in. And when you start being kind to yourself, you start having gratitude, and start understanding what's taking place around you, you will begin to strengthen your divine connection. You will really start to move into this journey that you want to take. On a practical note, if that's the best way to describe it, I do feel starting with crystals, starting with Reiki, if you're not already doing so, these will be the tools, because this is what they are. They are tools that will help you to begin to vibrate in the energy resonance, that will then help open other doors for you. So thank you very much. Don't know, Larkin, if you have anything for Melody, because I know you've been sorting something out. And I'm very aware that you need to be getting off as well. So
yes, I actually needed to leave the house by 2:30. So I'm
all right,
okay. Here. We have some construction, guys. I'm sorry, they were pounding on the door. We have
right.
huge construction going on right in the street next door. So let's see. Hi, Summer. Welcome. Oh my gosh. See, I feel like we've got all these people hop on for readings just as we're getting ready to log off.
Yeah.
Time. But
well,
yeah,
I'm happy to continue for a short period longer if you need to.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll probably have to do that. I wanted to
All
just
right, darling, no worries. We can do that.
Quick throughout to Melody. That and I'll be back and forth. I'll leave it on for a little bit. I'll be getting ready to run out the door. But
the one thing I would like to just share with you, Larkin, I'm sure you read it, is the message from Alison.
Oh yes, I did. I'm going to get to that before I get off. I already
do you want to do that before you get off?
I want to quick finish with Melody for a moment, and then we will get to her while I'm getting ready. I'll leave this on. I actually already did a reading for Allison. She was just popping on to give me a feedback.
Yeah, well, that's why I just wondered if you wanted to deal with that privately or whether you wanted to.
No, I'm going to comment on it here in just a minute. I want to get through Melody because then I have to go get dressed. So I already have a whole list of things in my head here for you guys. So anyway, back to Melody. Let me shift back to Melody. So one of the things, Melody, too, is, again, I was listening to everything Susie was sharing. I'm totally on board with her with all of that. And I think that one of the things to keep in mind, though, as you move forward, again, is differentiating between spiritual path as an intellectual concept. And it's always a constant challenge to, not lose the purity of that spiritual path that you're wanting. As you get caught up in, as you go and you practice Reiki, or you learn cards, or you do crystals. Susie and I talked a lot about this a couple of weeks ago. Really following your own intuition and follow what you're drawn to. It's very easy as you're learning these things and interacting with other people that are doing it. It's very easy to get caught up in the intellect of it, in the interaction with other people of it, and just make sure that you constantly spend that alone time, as Susie was talking about, to go back into yourself and to keep it pure, because it might not always go the way, the teachers or the trainers or the people you're doing it with are saying. And you'll come in and out of kind of getting attached to those things, to those labels, or to the process, because you'll learn things and then you'll need to just let it go so that you can make it your own. And you're going to find, especially this year, as you embark in this, that that's a huge part of that. I also wanted to throw out with Archangel Michael, and with well, I call him Metatron, but a lot of people call him Metatron. That there's a lot of purple energy there as well. And with Michael, it's a little more of a neon type of purple blue. With Metatron, it's a little more of just the purple. But keep that in mind as well. I feel like I was asked to keep that in mind. There's so many people on here I want to read for. So I wanted to just quick comment on Allison, and then I have to go get dressed. You know, I'm going to probably sound a little harsh here, Allison, and I don't mean to, but I'm going to be very matter of fact here, because I noticed this when I was reading the other day. I noticed on the comments on my page your updates, and I appreciate your updates. What I want to throw out here, and that Spirit is really driving home, is that if you really want to break free of this feeling that you're at the bottom, feeling that you're as low as you can go, you have to do it. You have to do it. Your family's not going to change and stop. The person talking about you isn't going to change and stop. This obstacle is an opportunity for you. And to a lot of people, if you're not familiar with this yet, it seems so harsh. And I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm saying this with the greatest of love, because I've had to do this as well. But Spirit is encouraging you, is cheering you on, is really trying to get you to not continue to give this person your power. Because whenever we're allowing someone, and Susie can attest to this, whenever we're allowing someone to, no one can ever make you feel anyway. And a lot of times I say that and people are angry at me for saying it, and that's okay. But understand that when you're being told that no one can make you feel anyway, you're also actually being told and reminded that you have power and choices that you're not aware of. You have a power that is waiting to be discovered. And that when people are nasty to us and they lie about us and they talk behind our backs, they are truly the weak ones. And that they can never hurt us or make us feel bad unless we give them permission. Now, I'm aware that you don't know how you're giving her permission. This is part of the discovery process when we're being treated this way. But we have to shift out of the victim mentality. To feel as low as you do with someone treating you this way, it means you're in a victim mentality, and that's not your fault. But it is your choice and your power that you're just now on the verge of discovering that you can overcome. And I've had to do this. Believe me, I've been there. I'm not belittling this, but you have to actually get to a point where you're okay with her doing that. You understand and accept that you can't make her stop. You're not going to convince everyone to believe something different. You have to actually go deep inside and find your own truth if you want to stop feeling this low. Because right now you're allowing her and other people to drain your energy. You're giving them power over you. And no matter how many times I read for you, or other people may read for you, or give you advice from Spirit, Spirit first needs you. Since you're the center of your reality, you are the one that has to make the choice. You are the only one that can make the change. And so, although I understand and I remember being in your shoes where it feels as though you have to share all the details of the circumstances and what's being said about you and what people are doing to you, in truth, I don't need that for a reading. I don't need that to read for you. And anyone assisting you or guiding you doesn't actually need all those details. Those details are the things that are holding you down. And your opportunity right now, your challenge, and I know how this seems from your perspective because I've been there, to have someone tell you this, but Spirit is really wanting you to push through this so you can break free of this. Okay. And if you want to break the cycle, you are the only one that can do it, because she is benefiting in her own way, or she thinks she is, from talking nasty about you. Okay. And Susie's going to have cards for you in just a moment. Okay. But I want to summarize this before I get off here. What is it?
It's cyclical.
Oh, cyclical. Yeah, absolutely.
Literally just pulled that card for us. Cycle.
And that'll be perfect. And when I leave here, Allison, when I get up and go get dressed and I'm listening to you guys, Susie's going to share that with you, because it is cyclical. You're in a cycle of this, and we are all, not just you, any of us, we are the only ones that can break the cycle. And I'm going to throw this out to you before I get up here too. When you react, even if it's not in front of these people, you are giving them what they want. You are giving them power. When you let them make you feel that things can't get any worse and they're destroying you and your life and your relationships, you're giving them what they want. So if you want things to change, you have to initiate it, and you have to follow through. You have to apply non-reaction. You have to know how to get off the hamster wheel. You have to break the cycle. And I have a feeling that the cards Susie's pulling for you are going to help guide you to that. And I appreciate that you updating me. Just understand that the bottom line is, no matter what they're doing and saying, and no matter what's happening, the bottom line is, despite the details, you have to break the cycle. And this opportunity is going to empower you in ways you cannot imagine if you can get on the other side of this, Allison. I'm sending you so much love and support. I've been there and I've gotten out of it. And so you can get out of this too. Okay. I'm going to turn you over to dear Susie, who has some wonderful wisdom as well for you.
Thank you. Okay. So as Larkin was talking, I literally have pulled cards for you, Alison. And the first one out was cyclical. And it really is confirmation of what Larkin's been saying. Break this cycle. Break the cycle of how you feel about this situation. Know that you cannot change the person, but you can change yourself. So what I'm being guided and inspired to offer you is some tools to use, because we can say yes, we're going to break the cycle, we're going to change our habits, we're going to do this, but sometimes we just need that extra little bit of help to do so. So the first thing that came to me is that I was listening is, and I mentioned this earlier, and I don't know if you heard it, but I worked with James Van Praagh many years ago. And one of the things that he told me, and has stayed with me ever since and does resonate with me, and I use it frequently, is what other people think of you or say about you is none of your business. So let them say whatever they choose. And the reason I resonate with that and know it works is because I was in a similar situation with an ex-partner many years ago, and I walked away from it because he was manipulative. He was saying things about me that weren't true. And I could have gone down the route of anger, and all of that, and wanting to prove him wrong, and wanting to say to the people that he was talking to, this is this is not true, and just get into the drama of it all. Instead, I just walked away from it. I chose not to make any comments whatsoever. I understood that it was none of my business, and I figuratively, metaphorically, energetically, and literally eventually walked away from that relationship. But I walked away in the sense that I still remained friends with these other people that he was saying these things to, but I chose not to get into the drama. I chose not to try and prove to them what this person was like. And I just knew that in time, the true colors would show, and they did. So I feel that this is one premise for you to think about and consider. What other people think of you is none of your business. The next card that came out for you is the Violet Angel. And for me, this is very much about the violet flame. It's about transmuting that energy. So finding tools. Meditation was your other card. So using meditation to find that space just to sit and breathe and really just try to become present. This is the scene for today. Become present in the now. Become present with what's taking place and releasing those thoughts. Now, one of the practices of working with the violet flame is to write down everything that you feel, your thoughts, and then to burn them. And as you burn that piece of paper that you've written on, very safely, of course, is that you visualize that energy being released and let go. I love crystals. So for me, I tend to work more with crystals, and what some very good crystals to help you release any negativity, any thoughts and feelings of what's going on around this situation is to work with amethyst and black tourmaline. They are two really good crystals for this sort of work. So there's some more tools that you can use. But also I would want to bring in rose quartz around you, so that rose quartz would help you with this feeling of healing what's hurting. So getting settled in and having love and compassion for yourself. And rose quartz is a beautiful crystal for doing that. The other thing I would like to suggest that you'd use as another tool in ways to deal with this is, as you're thinking about this situation, use the Ho'oponopono phrase, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. You don't have to be specific. Just think of the situation, think of the person, and just say these words to that situation. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be to that person, although adding in that person will be very beneficial. Now, you may be sitting there thinking, well, I don't want to forgive this person. Why should I say all that? It's not about condoning the actions that they've had or are giving or doing. It's the forgiveness is for the situation itself. And when you forgive, you release the energy that you're holding on to. When we hold on to anger, frustration, we've got all these feelings of negativity that we want to vent out because of what this person is doing and saying. The only person it's impacting, the only energy field and presence it's impacting in that moment is yourself. And you are the one that is feeling that. This other person may be completely oblivious to all of this because of what's going on, because they have their own perception of their reality. So you're not condoning what they're doing by saying, I forgive you, I'm sorry. You're actually allowing yourself to release and let go of all that anger, bitterness, frustration that you're holding on to. So I would say, even if you're not thinking about the situation, just sit down and say the words. Use it as a mantra. Use it as many times as you want through the day and evening. Do it daily, even if it's just once a day that you say these words, and just begin to notice the shift of energy that you will start to feel. Because your other card that came out is Katumi, and Katumi is about initiatory experience. Your current situation is initiating your gifts. So whilst at the moment you may feel you are at your lowest that you can possibly go, when you get to the bottom of that pit, now whether that pit be of your own choice, your own making, somebody else's making, it really, and again, as Larkin says, we say this with love. We say this with the heartfelt, because we have both had our experiences. I have been in the darkest of moments. I've been at the lowest I could possibly imagine I could ever get. Not just once in my life, but 3 or 4 times through different experiences. And each time when I got to that pit, when I got to that the darkest of that hole, there is always, always, always a little tiny fraction of light. And as you follow that light, with whatever tools you gain to follow that light, the only way out of that pit is up and out. But as Larkin rightly says, you are the only one who can make that choice. But by doing so, when you make that choice, when you follow that light gets stronger, the glow gets bigger, the tools, the people, the inspiration, your angels, spirit guides, whoever you want to work with, whatever, in whatever form they come, be it as an earth angel, somebody who comes and brings their presence to you and makes a comment or helps you with something, you can only go upwards, move forward. 15, 20 years ago, I was at my lowest, absolute lowest. And I couldn't even imagine still being here at that time. And here I am doing what I do, sharing the love, the wisdom, the compassion, and all because I made that choice to follow that thread of light, to find the tools that helped me get out and start moving forward. And by your own experiences, there will come a moment where you will be able to help somebody else, because this is helping you to discover who you are, your spiritual path, as you want to say it, your journey through life. We all learn from our experiences. We all learn from the lessons that are brought to us in whatever ways they are. So by changing how you perceive this, making the choice to change, you will start to move forward. And in the changes that you make, I will also add the energy vibration. As you shift it, you may well find that naturally and organically, people around you who do not support you will move away. So I hope that helps, Angel. But remember, it is your choice, and you can use these tools, whether you choose to or not, to help you release. Journal, burn it, flush it down the toilet, rip it up, throw it in the bin. You're releasing energy. Work with crystals if you feel drawn to those. These are all about the tools that you find. Have gratitude for your life. Have gratitude for where you are in this life. Even though you feel you are at your lowest, when you start to use gratitude, it changes your energy vibration. It brings things to you. It opens up doors of change. And use the Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Thank you, Alison.
I want to throw in here. I know I'm trying to get in and out while I'm getting dressed to go to the barn. I want to throw in a couple things. Number one, guys, I did on Veronica Jenkins readings group when I did my live readings a couple weeks ago on November 21st. I did the beginning segment is about gratitude, and what Susie was talking about is so important. And if you listen to the beginning of that segment that day, I walked you through a little gratitude, being present exercise, and that is so powerful. Because when we get into that place, these things can't affect us even the way we are. But again, Allison, this has to be, it has to become a habit. And so we're all in the process of transforming our habits. And the other thing too is I want to throw this out there. I'm hoping Susie will share things she has coming up as well. But I wanted to also let you guys know that I do have a Meet Your Spirit Guides event on the 20th of January. With very limited spaces. And I wanted to create a time for Susie and I to share things we have up and coming. But before I want to run out of here, I want to make sure you guys know that you can check that out on larkinsreadings.com or on my Facebook page. We talk a lot about angels here, and spirit guides get neglected. And so I just want to make sure, for those of you that literally want to meet your spirit guides, I'm going to be taking a few people through that process and making sure that you meet them and you get a reading for them. But it is something you have to register for as well. I wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that, because not everybody sees all the posts. And Susie, don't forget to share stuff you're doing as well today. I want to make sure we get to share those things with everyone, so they can connect with us.
Other than what we're going to do as a collaboration, I've nothing in that respect coming. But what I
Yeah.
am doing, if you follow my Facebook pages,
Yes.
Susie Antara, etc., you will see that I am creating an angel toolkit.
That's what I mean.
So
Yes.
it's a box containing crystals and all sorts of other lovely little bits and pieces that you can use as a way of developing your connection to the angelic realm. So if you want to know more about those boxes, just drop me a private message. But yeah, I am looking forward to collaborating in next year in 2024 with Larkin, where we can bring you these amazing get-togethers and do all sorts of fun things to connect, angel parties, things like that. So that's just me at the moment. Okay, I'm going to whiz through relatively quickly as not too quickly. I'm not going to speed read, but I too have to get off very shortly because I think we've been getting on for 2 hours. As always, our plan was to do these for an hour. And time is linear, it's man-made, and we never follow time. So here we are. So anyway, I will try to get through everybody. Ward, I've seen your lovely question. I'm so sorry we're not going to be able to get to your question today. Please save that question for us when we come back next week, and we will access that then if you're able to join us next week. Failing that, just private message either myself or Larkin, and we can have a look at it then at some, well, Larkin may be busy and that, but we'll see. But it'll be there as a reminder for next week when we come on. So I'm truly sorry that we can't get to that this evening, but thank you. And so where are we? Deborah, the lovely Deborah, the lovely, lovely Deborah. So hopefully, Deborah, you're still here. You have divine guidance. I know these cards are lovely and glossy, so the light catches them. And leafy glade. And Commander Ashtar. And that says leadership activation, time to evolve, trust in your ability to guide others. As I'm drawn to the leafy glade, I feel very much we are coming back to this energy of sacred space, of finding that time to sit in that moment and breathe and just really connect to. It's very important for you to keep that connection to nature going. I know how much you love the outdoors and I know how much you love your garden. But I am very aware that obviously this time of year it can be that we can't always get out and sit where we want to sit. So there's this feeling of connecting. I have to say this, I always give what I get, but I have this feeling of wanting to connect and talk to plants. So there may be something around where you have a specific plant that's a favorite of yours, where you can use that to have an energetic connection. And just use the lovely energy of the plant to support and nurture you at this time. You do receive that lovely divine guidance. It's always coming through in the beautiful words that you write. But with Commander Ashtar, there's very much this feeling of you still haven't quite fully, you don't fully trust what it is that you get. And it's like you're asking these questions of who, what, why. And I really want you to stop asking who, what, why, and just trust in what's flowing to you. And really just know that your words inspire and guide others. It's almost a feeling of stop thinking about this up here and start trusting the responses that you're receiving. Now, it may only be one or two, it might be half a dozen, it might be a flow of things that come to you. But even if one person says to you, thank you so much for what you've shared, that's made me feel, or that's brought into my awareness X, Y, and Z, this is you helping somebody else. And you are guiding others. You may not see it on the daily basis, but your words are being read, they're being felt, they're being heard, and they really are starting to help others. I do very much want to go back to the leafy glade, and I do feel that at this moment there is this process where you need to be nurturing yourself and really focusing on you at the moment. And once the spring comes, things are going to start shifting, moving and changing for you, is what I'm feeling. Thank you, Deborah. Much love to you, darling. Right, let me just see where we are, who I'm drawn to next. Done. Okay. If I don't come to you this time, please pop back next week, because it may be that there's nothing energy-wise or resonance-wise coming through for you at the moment. And I'm just now, because of timings, I'm going to go to those that I feel drawn to. So, Rachel. Okay. All right, the lovely Rachel. If you're still here, Angel. Oh, so Rachel, you too have Katumi. Your current situation is initiating your gifts. You have winter, and you have dreams and desires. I get a really strong feeling of love, joyful. I feel really bubbly and effervescent around you. So there's this like energy of excitement that's coming up around for you. So I feel there are some changes in the offing that if they haven't come to fruition yet, if they haven't taken flight, is what I want to say yet, then there's something that's going to start to really move quite quickly in the coming few weeks. I feel it's almost like the new year is going to bring about amazing changes that you've maybe started to make little steps towards doing. I feel as I look at the dreams and desires, it's the color yellow around it, which is obviously very connected to our solar plexus. It's very much our power center. It's our center of self-worth, self-confidence, self-esteem. So I feel that something you're doing at the moment is really building on that energy. It's really making you step up, step out and be seen. But I see this in a joyful way. I see it in a fun way. It doesn't feel like it's related to work or in any way like that. It feels more, this is very much about your personal life. This is very much about what's taking place for you at the moment. The winter card, I feel for you, is just enjoy winter. Just enjoy this transitionary period. Life is to be lived. Life is to have fun. And I almost feel like I'm getting in touch with my inner child. And really, I'm seeing this little girl hop, skipping and jumping and really having fun. It's almost like there was a period of time where everything was way too serious and you were too in your serious mode. And now you're starting to come out of that. And because of that, you're really going to start making some waves and changes that are going to be really beneficial for you. I know you did some singing recently and I absolutely loved it. I saw that and loved it. So I feel it's connected to that. So if you've taken a step back from that, I want you to step forward into it again. I want you to really embrace it and just do it for fun. Do it for you. And you will find there will be, it almost feels like what you sing, you will start to write. So I don't know if there's a connection where you might start writing some words that will be turned into songs. But this is all about just enjoying the moment, just having fun, just really appreciating that sense of childlike fun. Because when you do that, you're opening it up to initiating your gifts. And I think there are gifts within you that you haven't yet really truly embraced. They've been there for a long, long time. You've had them for many, many years, but they've been put on the back burner almost. And by opening yourself up to this fun and enjoyment and just taking pleasure from doing something that helps you build your self-confidence, your self-esteem, these other gifts of inspiration and guidance are going to start coming through. I'm being shown a deck of cards in front of you as well, so I do feel this is connected to your spiritual development as well. So again, cards may be thank you, Deborah. Thanks very much, Angel. You're a blessing. Mwah. So yeah, Rachel, so really just enjoy whatever it is you're doing at the moment. Have fun, be childlike, enjoy the process, use the winter just to not hibernate as such, but really just transition through the changes that are taking place. And for some reason, I'm being shown a house move. So, and there's a lady and gent in spirit, the world of spirit, coming towards you now. This gentleman's very military. This lady's very soft, flowy, feminine. And they just feel like they're bringing in the balance of yin and yang, of feminine and masculine, and really just finding that balance within your energy as well, not stepping too much into one or the other, because I feel that's symbolic. And yeah, so I hope that helps you, Angel, and enjoy. So and then I've got quite a few people here. I've got at least 3 that I know. So, and Surav, would you like, when you come back, if you want to pop back next week and have a profile picture, that would be great. And we can look at reading for you next week. So I will pull 1 card for you, as you've so kindly asked and waited, because time is a processing. Okay, so Katumi is definitely coming out tonight. I keep shuffling the cards and he keeps appearing on the top of the deck. So Surav, this is for you. You have Katumi. Initiatory experience. Your current situation is initiating your gifts. So I feel there's some spiritual growth coming around for you. It's almost, I feel like meditation is an important thing for you to start really taking on board, start processing your meditation. You have a protection card as well. So just being aware that the angels are around you, that your divine guidance is there, that all of these things are combining to help you to move forward in the choices that you make. And just pull for joyful inspiration. So there's something around you being in your joy. So I really feel that there's something that you need to be doing that will help you to express joy in your life. I get a feeling of a sense of perhaps being too serious. It's almost like I have this logical process going on, and I'm thinking things through logically. So I feel that if you can embrace the tool of meditation, of just sitting, becoming present, being in the now, and this has been a resonant message all the way through tonight. So I feel for anybody who comes back and watches the replay, you'll find that this is said quite frequently and it will have a resonance for you as well. But yeah, just be mindful of your meditation. Take the time to have some fun and really just be aware of what's starting to open up for you with regards your own spiritual progress. And then Summer, I don't know if you're still here, but I will draw some cards for you as well. And So Summer, you have Elmoira, and this is spiritual force field. Protective light is surrounding you. You are safe. You have the angel of compassion and the lovely rainbow angel. This is one of my favorites. These angels in this deck of cards were all drawn or designed by myself. This is my own personal deck of cards that I created, called The Importance of Being You. And I feel it's important for me to say that for you, Summer, that it's about remembering that you are important. You are as important as anybody else. We are all divine, unique, individual beings, and we are all important. But I just get a sense of this needs to be reminded. And because the compassion angel comes in, and I really feel that this is about you being compassionate to yourself, really trusting in what you know to be right for you and following that guidance and inspiration. The lovely rainbow angel really, again, is another joyful energy for me. And it's about bringing joy in, and by being compassionate to yourself, you can start bringing that joy in as well. And with Elmoira, this protective light that is surrounding you is just an affirmation, a confirmation that the angels, guides, and spirit are around you. They are keeping you safe and protecting you. I just feel that it's time for you to just really focus on you, do the things that you want to do in the ways that you want to do them. So thank you to everybody who's been here with us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure to sit here, share conversation with all you beautiful souls, and do these few readings as well. And we look forward to connecting with you again next week. So have a wonderful rest of the week, and I will speak to you and see you all again very soon. Take care. Bye. Lots of love.